battle. It is the courage to continue that counts. We now request Dr. K. Kausalya, Professor and Head, Department of Computer Application, to welcome the gathering.
A warm good afternoon one and all. It gives me an immense pleasure to welcome you all for this valedictory function of this National Conference, Advanced Computing 2023. Now I welcome our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. N.G.P, CEO, Ascent Technologies, Coimbatore. I welcome you, sir. Next, I welcome our respected Chairman, Madam Secretary, and our Principal in their absence. And next, I would like to welcome organizing team of this conference and student friends and participants from various institutions. Once again, I welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
The key to growth is the introduction of higher dimension of consciousness into awareness. We now invite Dr. D. Maheshwari, Professor and Head, to introduce the chief guest.
Delightful afternoon to everyone present here. I take immense pleasure to introducing Mr. Rajagopal to this wonderful session. He is currently working as a business strategist consultant at ABT Info Cloud and Director and CEO, Ascent Technologies India Private Limited, Coimbatore. He was Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering at Carnegie Institute of Technology and Science since 2018. He has completed his Ph.D. Information Systems, Anna University, Chennai, and completed his MBA at the ICFAI University, Dehradun, and also BE at Birla Institute of Technology and Science, Pilani. Our resource person has awarded National Treasurer for Computer Society of India in the year 2015. He has published 12 papers in international journal publications. Indeed, it is a great honor to introduce such a knowledgeable person for this session. Thank you.
We now invite our Dean to honor the chief guest.
We bid Mr. Rajagopal, CEO, AceNet Technologies, to deliver a keynote on digital transformation through emerging technologies.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good afternoon to everybody. Respected Dean Ma'am and respected heads of department of various branches of computer science, faculty members and student volunteers who have done a lot of work for putting through this conference, students from this institution and from other institutions. It's a great pleasure and honor to be here today afternoon. Before I begin, I should say that one of the reasons I had accepted the invitation to be here is because a couple of years ago when we wanted an event of CSI to be, graced, we had met Madam, and she had gracefully accepted immediately, and she had come forward and she was part of our function. So I felt that it is my duty to return that favor that she actually did for us. So thank you very much for inviting me here today afternoon. I am here representing the professional body, though I am part of other professional bodies today. Since this event is jointly conducted with the Computer Society of India, I thought let me take a couple of minutes, just 2-3 minutes, to talk about the society and then probably get on to my topic as such. So CSI, for those of you who know, well and good. For those of you who don't, is the largest body of computing professionals in our country. It was founded 58 years ago. We have had the Foundation Day celebrated on the 6th of March this month, and we had your faculty from N.G.P and student volunteers who were there as part of the celebrations to help us out in that. Thank you very much for that. CSI has members from across the domain, whether it be professional members from government, organizations, professional organizations, very well-known scientists, as well as people from academia. Academia is the biggest backbone of CSI. We have close to about 1,000 institutions across the country who are part of our society. And we have close to about 1 lakh members, including student members, who are part of CSI. So there are various kinds of events that are done for professional members and students. There are various conferences, seminars, workshops, and so on that are conducted regularly, periodically, by different chapters. Coimbatore chapter is one of the most vibrant chapters in the country. It was started in Coimbatore by the earliest people of IT in Coimbatore in 1984. And we have our own premises, and we have a very vibrant chapter here. Students, there are various opportunities for students to be part of CSI. We have activities such as programming contests, quiz contests, project presentations, hackathons, and so on. And apart from that, CSI is well known for their publications. We have a CSI journal. We have CSI Communications, which is a monthly publication. And we have an exclusive journal for student publications called Adhyayan. So I urge those of you who are already CSI members here to more actively participate in our activities. And those who are not, do consider to become a member of CSI. The advantages, I know people who have started as student members and who have gone on to become professional members after they completed their college life. And they have risen to the top. They even, after about 30 years of being a professional member, they have been the president of our society. So it can really give you opportunities to network with people, connect with people across different domains that I mentioned. Apart from this, CSI is also working very closely with the government. We have had, as you know, India has always been well known as a software superpower, right? But on the hardware front, there is a lot to be desired, because there are other smaller countries like Taiwan and so on, which are much ahead in terms of hardware technology. So about a few years back, we had the Ministry of IT, which wanted to do programs across different colleges in the area of hardware. So we engaged with colleges across the country through which are student branches, and we did events on hardware, where there were morning sessions on by resource persons, and the afternoon session the students were taken to a nearby electronics industry to understand various kind of hardware that was being worked upon. So those of you who are interested in like embedded systems or IoT and so on could definitely consider this as an opportunity. Apart from that, this year, as you all know, I hope you know, that this year India has taken over the leadership of the G20 countries. Yes, I hope you're aware. Yes, no? Yes. So G20, as you know, is a grouping of the top 20 nations in the world. And India, for the first time, is going to be chairing this particular program. And this is going to happen in September in different parts of the country. So Ministry of IT, Government of India, in December, January, invited 5 bodies across the country for a meeting with the Ministry of IT in Delhi. And CSI was also one of the bodies that was invited, which was represented by our people. The ministry has now given the approval for CSI to go ahead and conduct events on the campaigning of how to stay safe online. That is the theme that has been given to CSI. So starting from April through to September, we'll be having a whole lot of events that will be happening across different platforms because of the G20 summit. And I urge students to, we'll definitely share this information with the institution. I urge students to also be part of that. So having said all that, let me come to congratulating the organizers for the National Conference on Advanced Computing Sciences that is being held today by the Faculty of Computer Science of N.G.P, Dr.N.G.P Arts and Science College. I went through the list of various topics that were chosen. All are current areas, cutting edge areas, be it AI, ML, AR, VR, blockchain, IoT, edge computing, analytics, and so on and so forth. I understand that you have had the opportunity to listen to 2 resource persons in the morning, and the post-lunch session is usually the very dreaded session. So I can see half the audience nodding their heads like that. So to all of you, just to wake you up, so what I'll do is I will actually take you through more of our experiences on the industry. Okay, I'm not going to talk much of technology, but technology is something which I'm sure your faculty members, both in your institution and if you have come from other colleges, I'm sure your faculty members are much more knowledgeable than me on technology. They are there to help you. I would only see how I can rely and how industry relies on technology and actually delivers projects. Okay, more from our point of view where we are associated as an organization, not only with our own team, but also with other teams, how we collaborate with other teams, how we work with them. So I'll get started on that, and that's the reason why I chose today's topic as digital transformation through emerging technologies. All the technologies that are there as part of the conference, as I said, are emerging technologies. So the first thing that which actually integrates most of these things is the cloud, right? Whether you talk about blockchain, whether you're talking about AR, VR, AI, ML, whatever it is, eventually everything happens out of the cloud. So cloud is something which is something which is an area which is very close to my heart, and I work very closely with organizations on that. I work with an organization as a consultant where we set up a data center way back, I think about 15 years ago. It was one of the first data centers in the whole country. And when you say data center, I don't know what your people have an idea about data center. I will just tell you what a data center is. A data center is essentially a place where you can safely host your data. Simple. Okay? So what makes it safe? So what do you want from your data? Okay? If I ask you a question saying, do you think your data is safe on your laptop or on Gmail? What would be your answer? On Gmail. Yes, very true. Because anything can happen on your laptop, anything can happen. It could crash, it could get stolen, whatever. But your Gmail is secure as long as you know that your password and username is fine. And the reason for that is organizations like Google or Microsoft, or Microsoft has their Azure platform, Google Cloud platform, and the AWS, Amazon Web Services platforms. These organizations have invested billions and billions of dollars in building these kind of data centers. What happens is, today one of the areas that you're talking about is green computing. I saw that in your list of topics. Data centers are now being built under the sea to ensure that power consumption cooling is not required, because whole lot of things have to happen when your data is running there. So when we talking about these huge data centers that are hosted, usually they are back to back, and they are what is called redundant. When I say redundant, I hope it gives you some kind of an idea of what it is. Redundant means you are not depending on any one thing. There is no single point of failure. That's what is redundancy. So when I say that, if your hard disk, if you are going to have a second hard disk, you are building some amount of redundancy there, because then if one hard disk is down, you can operate from the second hard disk. Similarly, if I have a first processor and instead of the first processor, I have a second processor, so it can take up automatically if the first processor goes down, then you are building redundancy there. So likewise, on a data center, what has happened is redundancy is built at every level, from the point of view of storage, from the point of view of processing, from the point of view of power. We make sure that the power source has to be multiple power sources. For that matter, in Tamil Nadu, so there are different classifications of data centers. There's what is called Tier 3 data center. Tier 4 is the highest level of data center. It is difficult to have a Tier 4 data center in Tamil Nadu for the simple reason that the specifications of a Tier 4 data center say that you need to have redundant power. That means your power source has to be from 2 sources, whereas in Tamil Nadu we have only one power source, which is our electricity board. So you can never have a Tier 4 data center in India, in Tamil Nadu till that point of time. There are other states which have a Tier 4 data center because they have 2 or 3 sources of power. If you take Mumbai, for example, they have Reliance, they have Tata, they have Best, and so on. So you can have redundancy on power. If there is a power failure in both the networks, both the power providers, you need to have a UPS backup. And there have to be 2 sources of UPS. If your primary UPS is down, your secondary UPS has to take over. If your UPS is down, then you need to have 2 sources of generators, and they should be working on different technologies. Same way in terms of your fire safety. If there is a problem, if there is a fire, what happens? Your bandwidth has to be from multiple sources, and so on and so forth. So at every level, there is redundancy that is built into the data center to make sure that if A fails, B will automatically take over. So somebody will ask me a question saying, Chennai has floods. So Chennai has a data center. What if Chennai data center goes down? So for that, what they have is they have a redundant data center itself. So there'll be a data center in, like if you take Azure, Microsoft, they have data centers in Chennai, in Mumbai, Pune, Hyderabad, Delhi, in different seismic zones. So that if there is an earthquake in one place, it will take up from a different place, because obviously all the places won't have earthquake at the same time. It will be in different seismic zones to make sure that the work is not affected. So if something happens in one location, God forbidding, people can immediately start working from the data center from the other location in a very transparent manner without getting affected for a long time. So in this, we build in what is called, as you all know, backup. Taking backups is so essential, because suddenly you realize your data, somebody has deleted it, you yourself have deleted it, or something has happened. If it's your personal data, it doesn't matter. If it is your photos, then yes, it really matters a lot. But when I'm talking of enterprise data, corporate data, it matters too much. So we make sure that at least first level backups are maintained in the data center. And for that, we also suggest what is called a disaster recovery plan. So when you talk of DR, which is disaster recovery, we suggest there are 3 types of disaster recovery that can happen. One is a cold DR, second is a warm DR, and then there is a hot DR. So when you're talking of cold DR, we are talking of, it will take some time. Probably, it may take 1 or 2 hours to get it up and working. So till that point of time, there will be a stoppage of services. If you're talking of warm DR, it may take probably a few minutes for it to get up. But if you're talking of hot DR, it is instantaneous. So your banking should be having something called hot DR, because if you're going to an ATM and you're going to draw cash, sometimes the ATMs don't have cash, that's a different matter. I'm talking purely from the IT point of view. So if your ATM is connected to the bank to a primary data center, and if something happens to the server there where it is connected, automatically it should get connected to the other server and take over from there. So it needs something called a hot disaster recovery to work. So these are the various terminologies that are used as far as cloud is concerned and how cloud as such works. Coming to the point of view of security, like I mentioned earlier, in your laptop, in the case of your laptop, in the case of Gmail, what I mentioned, all these organizations, as I said, invest in latest equipment, and there is a team which is constantly monitoring that, be it security threats, be it the software updates, whatever it is. It could be hardware obsolescence. It is constantly, there is a team monitoring that. So if there is a company, if there is a manufacturing company in Coimbatore, or there is a manufacturing company in Chennai which is into, let's say, automobile manufacturing, okay, what is their core strength, what is their core domain, is automobile engineering, right? So you don't expect them to have computer specialists to actually run the data center there. Whereas a data center would have people who are constantly monitoring these, and hence they will make sure that at any point of time the security concerns are addressed. They will ensure that the latest firewalls are in use, the later patch updates are there, and so on and so forth. Because in a normal organization, there may be one person handling it. There may not be a proper process to handle it. So it is quite possible that somebody misses out, and that could be the only thing that the person is actually waiting to penetrate into the organization network to take advantage of the vulnerability and hack the organization. When you're working on a cloud where there are giants who are having teams to monitor this, you can be rest assured that this would not happen. So when I'm saying all these things, very nice to hear, but do enterprises really adopt this? So what do enterprises say? How long has it taken for companies to adopt this? It has been a slow process. It has been almost 15 years now. So initially companies used to say, no, our data is very safe. It should be here. Like, if you have your college data, financial data, student data, I am sure it must be here or in one of your other institutions and you're just connected through a VPN or whatever. But what happens is, if I say that, okay, first level, you start putting non-critical data. So in an organization, for example, what could be non-critical data? It could be probably about, managing the visitor management, or it could be about managing something on their canteen, or it could be something on managing their employee social network. These are things that they are very open to. So we started getting people to start using the cloud for non-critical applications. And over a period of time, then they said, okay, now we are little confident. Now we'll start using it for our purchase department or for our inventory department, our stores department. Only finally do they come to using it for their accounts. So it has been a journey. We still have not seen very many companies using the cloud actively for their design data, because one is it is their intellectual property. They still don't have the confidence that they can actually put it there, but that's a question of time. But once that happens, we can be rest assured that corporates across would have their data on the cloud. So why did I tell all this big story to you? What is the reason for this big story? There must be a takeaway for you, right? I cannot be talking here, end of it, and if you just clap, there is no point. There should be a takeaway for you. So the takeaway is that there are a whole lot of jobs that are getting created in the cloud space. In the cloud space. So we have different kinds of jobs, such as, cloud engineers, cloud developers, cloud administrators, cloud architects, cloud security personnel, and so on and so forth. So there are so many jobs that are getting created for cloud. For that, what is most essential, like in every other subject, you have to be very strong in your basic fundamentals. Your cloud fundamentals have to be very strong. You can use various resources to pick up your fundamentals. One resource which I can suggest is online resource. AWS, Amazon gives free student logins. If you have not tried it, please try it out. You can do that. In fact, Amazon has called an Amazon Campus Connect program. I do not know if N.G.P institutions is part of that program, but institutions can become part of the Amazon Campus Connect program, where students and faculty get credit in the sense of money on utilizing the cloud space for trying out various things. Faculty get $150 a year, students get $100 a year. You can get these credits, otherwise individually you can sign up and get it. You can use the cloud. Microsoft also gives it on their Azure cloud. You can do this, you can please sign up. Use these, familiarize yourself with all these resources on the cloud. Okay, once you familiarize yourself and have knowledge which is current, what I would definitely recommend is for you to go for certifications. All these giants provide certifications, because tomorrow when you're applying to somebody, how do you differentiate yourself from another student who's from another arts and science college or engineering college? Your certification is what is going to talk about you. So you have to go for industry standard certifications. You can go for certifications as any of those areas that I mentioned. Could be a cloud architect or whatever is of your interest. Take that as your area of work, build those skills and get yourself certified. So that is the takeaway that I wanted to leave with you, that you need to work towards it if you are talking of cloud as an area. Okay. Now, coming to digital transformation itself, which is the main theme of the topic. Digital is for everyone, right? Digital is not, nobody is today can say that I'm out of the digital world unless he's living in a remote village, or he's probably a person who doesn't want to get connected to technology. But otherwise, today more or less everybody is digital. In the sense that even in the rural places, the government has taken measures to ensure that there is a direct benefit transfer that they do. Money goes into their account regularly from the central government. So they need to use digital technology to access it in some form or the other. The scale of adoption is different. Like I said, the scale for different stakeholders is different. The scale for you as a student for digital adoption may be different. It's like your social media. I'm sure all of you are on some form of social or other. how you interact with social media may be different from what your friend does. You may spend half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, somebody may spend 4 hours, but definitely everybody spends. The question is how much. So the extent of involvement may be different, but the adoption is surely there. Is the other great benefit is that, it is the new business models have emerged out of digital adoption. If, I know from morning you would have heard or you would have heard from other speakers, but I need to quote that each of these new business models would definitely give you a different kind of a business or a digital experience. Whether you're talking of booking a cab on Ola or whether you're talking of having your food on a Swiggy or Zomato, each of these is a new business model. This is not there 10 years ago. Today, these are all new business models that have come only because of digital technology. Please understand that. It is because you have the convenience to use digital technology. There is a cloud where they can put their data and everybody can access it. That's why it is coming to you. What this results in, apart from convenience, is also an increased efficiency. Okay? There is so much of efficiency that is built because if otherwise, typically you have a vehicle that is probably used for 6 hours or 8 hours a day, but today the same vehicle can be used much longer because the moment he finishes one ride, even before he finishes the ride, the second ride is already landing up on his device. So he can pick up the second ride and keep moving. So the efficiency, the utilization is going up, and hence these are the benefits of digital technology. Seamless and very transparent, because there cannot be, there are exceptions where people say, pay me this much more and all that, but otherwise the experience is very transparent, it's very seamless. You know what you are going to get charged, you know what you are going to get paid. If you have an escalation, if you have a problem, you can raise a ticket and it will get addressed. From that point of view, now that it is digital, everything is digital, what does transformation really mean? Transformation is basically what is being provided to you is all along is what is needed by you, and from that what you are getting today is whatever is possible. So today so many things are thrown at your face. Earlier when you had to see something, you only go and see what you want. Today it's not like that. You go and see something on your phone, in the next 5 minutes you get 10 things thrown onto your face. Take it or leave it is your choice, but that's how it is. Okay? So once that happens, then there's a lot of transformation that is happening in terms of both in terms of marketing, in terms of the mindset, in terms of sentiment analysis, in terms of how you actually go forward to take a decision and so on and so forth. So these are the basic differences that come in from a non-digital to a digital transformation era. To give you a simple example, just to make it very simple and to make you understand, earlier it was probably when you were just small, or probably even earlier, it used to be a simple concept of a car or a car with a GPS at best, right? Then it moved into intelligent connected cars. It is not only GPS, but a whole lot of things. Today, there are roads that are actually tracked using analytics. So if you're driving on that road, you know at which location, how you should go, what is the speed you should maintain, at which point you have a fueling station, at which point you have something where you can stop for a snack or a break, at which point a speed breaker is going to come, at which point is a toll gate. Everything is there to you on your dashboard. This was not there even probably 7 or 8 years back. From this, the next generation which we are going to talk about, move to, is the intelligent connected ecosystem, the whole ecosystems, when you are talking of self-driving vehicles and so on. But the challenge for that in an Indian context is there. How is a self-driving vehicle going to navigate itself in a busy street in the Indian context is still a big question mark, is big a dilemma. But I'm sure it will definitely get sorted out. Okay, it will get sorted out. So that, when it happens, is where we actually get into your next area, which is in terms of what you are talking about, is your AI, ML and deep learning. All of you are familiar with why deep learning is getting more and more popular. Purely because it works on highly structured and neural networks, which are essentially what is going to really throw that kind of data at the system for it to be able to analyze and work forward. When we are talking of that amount of data coming in, we are also talking of different kinds of devices from which it is coming. And that is where I think your other topic of IoTs becomes very relevant. We have been doing a lot of work in the area of IoTs and sensors. More than 15 years we've been working as probably even a simple domain like textiles, we are working on sensors to actually see what is the production that is coming out. Then it moved into computer vision. When it moved into computer vision, it is more to detect the defects. If there is a cloth that is being produced, there may be at certain points at which there is a defect. There could be a knotting which is wrong, or there could be a stain that has come into the cloth. Okay? So when we actually run it through a scanner at a very high speed, the scanner is able to detect, pick up that point, and then there are cutters which actually cut the cloth and then start moving forward. In Coimbatore, using this technology of computer vision, we have a company, one of our customers and known customers again, called Autoprint Systems, which has built systems purely for the printing and packaging industry. If you take any packaging today, whether it's your toothpaste or whatever it is, any cardboard box that you see, or even your Swiggy boxes or whatever it is, pharmaceutical boxes, especially in the pharma industry, the packaging is very important. There cannot be an error there. It is not allowed as per the pharmacy rules. So they used to have rejects, which was earlier, used to have these pharma companies used to have rejects which were 2 to 3%. That is 2 to 3% of the production of the carton that is produced used to get wasted because there was some error in that. These people have built a system by which they do a visual scanning at very high speed to ensure that if there is a defect, that carton is actually moved into a separate compartment. Right there. There is no manual inspection. It is a computerized inspection. What happens there? Efficiency increases, and at the same time your errors come down. So if I am talking of 2% earlier, and if I can bring it down by 50% and bring that error to 1% by increasing the overall quality, I am saying 50% of the time, I am saying 50% of the effort and the money that is involved. So this is a clear application that we have seen. Agriculture is something which has really seen a lot of implementation of IoT from the various parameters that are got from the ground, from the soil level, to today using drones to actually catch images of a crop. If there is a sugarcane field, there is a drone that is moving regularly to capture details of the crop. There are some parts of the crop that could rot. And if that happens, for a farmer to notice that, it may be too late, and then he will not be able to apply the right kind of fertilizers or pesticides to correct it. Using vision technology, they have been able to map it so well that they are able to identify it in time, set it right within 1 or 2 days, and thereby ensure that the overall produce and the yield is increased. So this is one of the direct benefits that I can talk of Coimbatore-based companies which are working on it and which have benefited from it. Education, like what you have, there is whole lot of things that are happening in the area of education in terms of how the campus experience is being made better for each of you. Everything is connected. I mean, there are universities that work that way. So for example, if you're in a conference and you want to book a venue for a conference, everything is done automatically. If they want equipment to be done, it is arranged there. Whole lot of information that flows out on that particular platform. Today, you would have heard about a lot of congestion happening in airports like Delhi airport. People have to wait for more than 2 to 3 hours to complete their security process. Why is it happening? One of the reasons, because a lot of things are manual. The entire security checking process, even though your baggage goes through a scanner, the rest of the process is all manual. There's somebody who's physically seeing it. All that is getting automated now. Once that gets automated, then you will definitely have efficiency that are going to increase in the times to come. All of you have used virtual reality in some form, I suppose. At least, if not virtual reality, at least you would have used some part of it on your augmented reality. If you have used the Pokemon Go game, it is nothing but augmented reality. So one of the areas that you have mentioned here is augmented reality, where we work with an organization, we partner with an organization who produces educational material, education books. The content of the book is for children. The content of the book is such that if there is something which is got a picture, it's graphically represented, using a normal phone, you scan that, and that actually takes you to a link where you get much more information about that particular product, about that particular topic. So AR, what happens is AR actually works on your vision, but it enhances your vision. Okay? And essentially virtual reality is where you go into a different world altogether. We again there work with one of the bodies, because virtual reality is being used in all the fields. Healthcare, you must have all heard, it's being used for remote surgeries to be conducted remotely and so on. The boys would find it interesting that VR is being used in the sports domain very effectively. If any of you how many of you are interested and watch the NBA matches, basketball matches? That is being now made available on VR. So it is almost as good as you become that player, you become Kevin Durant, and you actually are playing there. You get that same experience of the player who is there. If you are talking of, as like I said, we are working on VR with companies in Coimbatore through our partners. It could be a simple thing like a company which is manufacturing motors and pumps, for which Coimbatore is very popular. The entire operation of the motor and pump is made available through a VR headset. So if there is a customer who wants to watch the whole thing, how it is being done, sitting anywhere, he can watch it. There is another example of another customer where we have worked. This is something which is very, very interesting. All of you have probably seen in the papers that there have been in the past railway accidents that happen. Okay? When these accidents happen, it is very, very heartening, because a lot of people get affected by it, whole families get affected. But then there is no reason why they are able to find out and try to see how they can improve on this. So there is a Indian Railways Training Institute near Mysore, which is using AR/VR today for training their disaster team on how to respond in the case of an accident. So they will be able to get trained fully, saying, see, you cannot recreate that. You cannot recreate an accident. If there is a train going on a bridge and it falls into a river, you cannot recreate that and train people how to save them. But using AR/VR, today this training institute is training their people how to get prepared for such a disaster management. I mean, recently when the earthquake was there, you would have seen that. In situations like that, these are technologies that will definitely be of great help, that will help mankind, help humanity. Social media, as I said earlier, is something that is good, has its own pluses, but has its own set of problems also. So we have recommendations coming. As long as it's recommendations, it's fine. But if somebody is impersonating themselves and trying to get into your personal life, then that is not acceptable, right? So you have all kinds of other things that are happening on social media. And apart from that, from the business point of view, we basically use a lot of engagement, social engagement, SEO, SEM, to ensure that we are able to ensure a higher level of ranking for products and services that are offered by organizations, and make sure that the business is always up and going. From a point of view of cyber security, which is again one area which we are working very closely on. Like I said, we are working with the Ministry of IT on that. Whole lot of strategies, policies, and surveillance and authentication that we work on. Because eventually anything on technology that we are talking about has only three things. It is people, process, and the technology. These are the three building blocks of anything related to digital technology. We need to make sure that we are able to protect all these three areas. By having the right processes, we protect the people, and we use technology in the right way to ensure that people get the maximum benefit out of it. From a point of view of cybersecurity, I do not know if there is much research happening here, but if not, data sets are available. You can set up honeypots, you can get data sets, and then work on different kinds of areas of cybersecurity. So, whole lot of opportunities in this area that have been mentioned by the organizers of the conference. I will sign off before just giving a few pointers. I was talking to a very senior person in an organization just 2-3 days back. There are two takeaways I got from that. Number one, you're all from computer science domain. What is happening today is that there are a whole lot of tools that are coming into the market. Okay? Earlier, only computer science people were able to use, you thought you were the only people who knew programming. Today, programming is a kind of a given. There are tools that are available. People can use tools, so people can come from other domains also and compete with you if they have the knowledge of the tools. So you need to be geared up not only in the knowledge of tools, but in at least a mix of areas. You need to have a kind of a hybrid knowledge to ensure that you are able to provide that kind of value to your employer. Because if you are a specialist only in one area, it is quite possible that tomorrow somebody else comes with a technology where that area may not be needing that many people. The job may become redundant. And hence you need to be multi-skilled to ensure that you are able to protect your kind of jobs as you go along. You need to bring in yourself a kind of a digital first kind of an approach, a systems thinking which is a digital first kind of an approach that you need to carry with yourself. You need to collaborate and learn from a point of view of that collaboration where you can interact with people, innovate, and then solve problems together and see how you can come up with new solutions. At the end of the day, when you step out of this institution, when you come to the industry, the world has got so many opportunities, but please understand that the world has also got a lot of competition. You need to see how you can add value to yourself. Please don't be satisfied at being at the lower end of the spectrum. The lower end of the spectrum everywhere has a lot of jobs, but you will not be able to move up from there. You will get stuck in the lower end of the spectrum. So try to build skills that are helping you to go up and build skills which will help you to come up to an organization in a quick time and be able to kind of contribute to organizations in the years to come. So with these words, I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me here. I hope I have been able to give at least a few points. Thank you very much. Best wishes to you.
We are eternally thankful for such an edifying speech, sir. We appeal our guest to present the Best Paper Award in Paper Presentation to Mr. M. Selva Vignesh from Coimbatore Institute of Technology, entitled A Hybrid Approach to Detect and Classify Pulmonary Carcinomodules in Computer Tomography Scans. Thank you, dignitaries.
No duty is more urgent than that of returning thanks. We never fail to return that. So, we now invite Dr. A. Adiselvam, Professor and Head, Department of Information Technology, to give oath of thanks.
So, good afternoon to all. Gratitude to open the door to more relationship. It is my honor and privilege to extend my vote of thanks to all you present here for the one-day National Conference on Advanced Computing Sciences organized by the Faculty of Computer Science. I, Dr. A. Adiselvam, on behalf of the organizing committee, convey my hearty thanks to our chief guest, Mr. M. Balakumar Thangavelu, India Head, Outreach, CTS, for his presence and valuable inaugural address on the topic, Recent Trends in Computing and Communication Technologies. I convey my sincere thanks to our Honorable Chairman, Dr.Nalla G. Palaniswami, and respected Madam Secretary, Dr. Thavamani C. Palaniswami. Words are not enough to thank their constant guidance and support for making this event to happen today. I would like to thank the opportunity to place and record hearty thanks to the CEO of our institution and the Senior Administrative Officer and the Administrative Officer for their valuable guidance. I place my sincere thanks to our beloved Principal, Professor Dr. Rajendran, for his help and support at various stages of this conference. It is my immense pleasure to thank our resource person, Dr. Vijay Kumar Kannan, Joint Director, Big Data Analytics Group, Chennai, for his presence and valuable keynote address on the topic of the Big Data Analytics using open source tools. I also extend my heartfelt thanks to our resource person of this session, Dr. Ranga Rajagopal, CEO, Asnet Technology, Coimbatore, for his presence and valuable keynote lecture on digital transformation through the emerging technology. He also emphasized the various certification on the cloud technologies for the student community. Thank you very much for it. I would like to thank the various session SAS and subject resource expert Dr. S. Karpahalli, Associate Professor and Head Department of Computer Science, Krishnamal College for Women, Coimbatore, Dr. Sandra Plashe, Assistant Professor, Department of AI and ML, Coimbatore Institute of Technology, Coimbatore, and Dr. Prabhu Sundar, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, Kobe Arts and Science College, Kobe Chettipalayam, for their presence and judges the research paper presented in the conference. I also express my thanks to Mr. H. Anand, Product Manager, ICT Academy, for this effort in collaboration with the ICT Academy in this conference. I also extend my thanks to Dean FCS Madam for your guidance, coordination, motivation to organize this conference. Thank you, Madam. I convey my sincere thanks to Deans of the various portfolio and HODs of the various departments for their advice and motivation. My special thanks to the conveners, treasurers, and organizing secretaries for this conference for their planning and execution to successful completion of this conference. I am also very much thankful for all organizing committee members for their support and contribution for the successful completion of the conference. So I wish to thank the participants from other colleges for their active participation and presentation of the research finding. I thank the faculty member and non-teaching staff member for their valuable support towards the success of the events. At the end, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all our student participants from our college. Once again, I thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your kind gesture.
Only a storm of hot passion can turn the destinies of people, and he alone can arouse passion who bears it within himself. With this, we have now come to the close of this event. Let's rise for the national anthem.
जनहन मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलति तरंगा दब शुभ नामे जाहे दब शुभ आशीष माहे गाहे तब जय कादा जनहन मंगलतायक